Hey everyone, it is I, Scarred Hero, and welcome to episode 2 of the weekly Yozakura podcast. There is no new chapter this week because Shonen jumps on a break due to the holiday stuff with New Year's and all that, but this month, January, volume 16 did come out and we have sales numbers for that. So that will be the bulk of what's being discussed in today's episode. Now, we have the first week of Oricon for the January Jump volumes, including volume 16 of Mission Yozakura Family, and it didn't rank in Oricon, which sounds pretty scary, but according to Shoseki estimations, which is like another sales ranking, it ranked 49th, and Oricon ranks the first 50, so it's like a weird gap where you'd think it made Oricon, but it didn't. But according to Shoseki estimations, Mission Yozakura Family Volume 16 has sold 23,150 copies, which is decent for a I don't know how many days exactly it was out for. I think it was, I want to say 5 days, but I'm kind of looking at this information as I speak. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. However, we have some more details. An update for the 15th, so yesterday's sales. Mission Yozakura Family Volume 16 ranked 102nd, just below Elusive Samurai and Witch Watch. Apparently, Mission Yozakura Family is known for having better sales on the weekends. But we've been seeing for the past month too that not only is Volume 16 ranking, but Volume 15 is ranking as well, which is really interesting. We usually don't get those backlogs often, so this means that there is almost a growing readership for Mission Yozakura Family, which is really good. Not only is Volume 16 sales a little bit higher, but we're also getting backlog numbers for Volume 15. And my theory on this is that it's because maybe Mission Yozakura Family has a younger audience, so readers, a lot of these younger readers aren't able to get volumes like right away. They have to wait till like weekends and stuff when they're off from school, or they have to save up a little more to get some volumes after the month that they originally came out. I think that's kind of what's going on there, which makes sense. It's nice to see Mission Yozakura Family have a little bit of slow growth regardless, and hopefully once the anime comes out, we'll start to see more of a boost and a wider audience attracted to the series that can pick it up and read it. I think that would be phenomenal. So, interesting sales numbers. In terms of comparisons with the other volumes, Witch Watch and Elusive Samurai have sold more than it, but it's Mission Yozakura Family is selling more than PP and High School Family and Super Smartphone, which, to be honest, isn't very impressive considering that Super Smartphone is an ACT series. Of course, it won't sell well. High School Family is ongoing and great, but it's still never sold well. And PP is in a similar... PP and Mission Yozakura Family are kind of like the same tier in terms of like sales on paper. But I think in terms of like overall popularity, I think Mission Yozakura Family does better in the magazine itself in terms of like the weekly poll rankings, and that's just a guess, and I say that because of how it's treated. Like if you look at the latest group covers, I mean, Mission Yozakura Family is ahead of PP in each magazine cover, and that's usually a good indication of like the popularity of a series. So I think that despite their sales being about the same, I think, again, Mission Yozakura Family has a large audience in the magazine of younger readers. So, but again, that's all speculation. So, that's pretty much all in terms of sales that is worth going over. We also know that next week, the next chapter that we are getting, Mission Yozakura Family is getting a color page to celebrate the return of slice of life chapters. Basically, according to the chapter preview, it seems that Tayo is going back to school and is going to have to undertake a future career assessment, which sounds really interesting because Tayo obviously is a Yozakura, he's a spy, he's kind of already known what he already knows what he's doing with his life. So a career assessment for someone like him is a tricky situation. So it could potentially be a very interesting chapter. Furthermore, since we're getting a color page for the return of these slice of life chapters, I'm guessing we're going to be getting them for a while, which is something that me personally I've really wanted to see, because with the Momo saga we've barely gotten any slice of life chapters, and I kind of mentioned this in the last episode, how I kind of miss like the school setting that was in volumes 1 and 2, and I think we might go back to that, which is very exciting. I'd like to see more of those just slice of life stuff. And another theory I have about the career assessment chapter. A career assessment is obviously like you're thinking about your future career and what you want to do in the future. So in my mind, I thought about it and I was like, wait, if we're discussing the future in this manga, I think I'm theorizing that we're going to get a time skip here soon. And I think that'd be really interesting, especially with the stuff like Asa in his introduction. If Asa's the final antagonist, I do think it'd be cool to see a time skip to kick off this next saga with Asa. We can see like Tayo and Mutsumi graduate high school, and I think that'd be nice too, because it kind of opened up the door for more romantic chapters, because they are, by that point they'd be adults and not kids. So I think there's potential there, and it's just a time skip in general is always very cool in like a shonen manga like Mission Yozakura Family, and it's something I'd like to see and something that I think has a decent chance of happening. So I'm looking forward to that. This, again, we'll have to wait until that career assessment chapter really comes out and see just what happens in the next few weeks to decide the true likelihood of us getting a time skip. But regardless, I'm as usual excited for the future of this series. Sales are looking better than they have been. I'll admit sales they've been kind of worrisome, like throughout 2022, they just weren't the best. And part of that was probably just like a lack of volumes. Like there was wider release gaps between volumes. I just don't know. It's a complicated topic, sales are, because it's just like there's so many factors to it. But again, future's looking bright, so I'm excited. And I think that'd be all for this week's episode. Again, it's a short one since we don't really have a chapter, and I was just discussing sales and next week's chapter. So that'll be all for today's episode. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys later.